So before we get started with this, there's a couple of things I wanted to remind you of. I'm going to flash these up on the screen. Of course, I just completely lost it. I've sent them across the thread. But one of the things I want you to understand construction-wise, did everybody see this picture?
Yes.
Can you see that this is a building kind of overlaid on a person's head? So when I tell you that you're not just looking at the front of something, you're looking at the front and the side of something. It's a little bit like a cube, right? So just like a cube in which things go, I'll draw it on here, right? When we draw the front of the cube, it looks like this. When we draw the side of the cube, it looks like that. We know these are the same side, but because this part of the cube is going farther away from us, everything kind of slants upward. Can you see that? Things that would, even though it's sitting normally on a table, it looks like it's slanting upward. And it looks smaller than this side. So the same thing is happening with the head, right? You think you're looking at the front of the head. Everybody thinks this is the whole front of the head, but the front of the head probably stops, well, a real key way. I don't want to sketch here. Let me sketch this in with pencil before I get all crazy and mark it with a pen. The front of the head is here. I can tell this because this is where the eyebrow kind of turns down. Can you see that? So where the eyebrow turns down is where we see the side of the head. Is anybody's mind getting blown yet? Yes, we're going to totally. So this is like the side of the cube.
This is so much easier than the Loomis thing that's like a million circles.
Well, this is the Loomis thing, and we're going to go over it. You're going to do it. We're going to do it.
The cube
that's
is
how it
like
works.
even more simple.
Yeah, it's well, don't worry. We're going to do all of it. I'm just sketching in these.
It's interesting.
So, yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? So you can
You follow the chin as the bottom of the box?
It's about here, actually. And the reason I can tell that is because, here, I'm going to sketch this out so you can really see it now in pen, now that I've got it. All right. So here's the side of the face, right? I can kind of tell where the side of the face is because this part of the chin goes one direction and this part is going another. It's almost like it's an angle. Does that make sense? Jean, I can't hear you.
It's kind of like the top point of the cheekbones.
Yeah, although I wouldn't get too caught up in that. I would look
the
at
corner of the eye, but
right. It's not. Listen, the corner of the eye goes into the side, right? In this case, because of her makeup and all that. Yeah, top of the cheekbone. What I would really say is it's where the eyebrow turns down.
Does it change depending on the view of the person, or is it always the eyebrow?
Well, that's a good question. I think, let's try it. Here, I'm going to pop my head up and you guys tell me. Okay. So, pencil down the middle of the face. So right where the eyebrows change is where the side of the head is.
Of the box face.
Yeah, the front of the face is where it's from here to here. Front of the face, and the chin is here, and the sides go up on either sides of the face. You can actually see both sides of the face. They go up. Okay, so that's one thing. Now let's try this side. Yep, side of the face. Actually, let me just stick here, hold on. I'm just trying to figure out where to do this. Okay, so here's the side of the face if you're looking from the front. Yeah, I'd say it's always where the eyebrow arches down. that is like, so the shape of the skull is such that this is the front and you'll see the sides. It's where the eyebrow, where the eyebrow sculpt's done. So I would say it's, but the other thing you'll notice is kind of like you can see it here. There's an angle, right? That means that the line is going one direction here, it's going the other direction here. So the other thing to know about that is that these are going to go to what we call a single vanishing point. Here. They're going to meet, right? So it means the top is not at the same angle as the bottom. The top, the bottom. If I went here like this, this also would go to, see, they're not the same angle. They're not parallel, which means that one is more curved than the other, and eventually, well, let's just do this. See, you can see they'll eventually meet at a single vanishing point.
If you made a line from one vanishing point to the other, would it be a straight line here?
Here?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, that wouldn't really be so helpful to you.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about vanish. You're wanting to apply
Horizon.
Yeah, which doesn't really, because of the position, isn't really as helpful here. Thank you,
Okay.
Melissa.
I was trying to have an
Hey, Melissa Collins,
Hey.
you made it. Are you at work?
Yes.
Are you at work?
Yeah, I'm in a
Oh,
meeting.
damn. Okay, you're amazing. All right, we'll just do what we can. So yeah, so the most important thing is to think that, like, I treat this side differently, right? I treat this side differently. And as I'm trying to get shape, I'm noticing that the thing that's the side that's going away from me is kind of just like this, angled up. It's angled. These two, if you run them together, are not parallel. This one is steeper, this one is less steep, right? So they will meet in a vanishing point as well. So yeah, maybe these won't. Maybe these are less likely to. Anyway, let's do that. So that's a good way to think about the front and the sides of the face. And I think the reason people struggle with the front and the side, and Melissa Collins, just so that you know, this is a super, you just do the best that you can. You've missed a bunch of the others, so don't worry if it's like, it doesn't make sense, or reach out, because we'll fill in lines as it goes.
You know what's interesting, Leah, is I drew it by myself first while you were doing it. And when I drew it on my paper, I drew it way wider than it actually is when you drew it.
Mm-hmm.
Like just looking at it.
Yeah, I was saying, actually, I don't, because this is wider. It won't meet, really. I mean, it'll eventually meet. It's
yeah, but I'm
like
just saying, like, the front of the face width here, that I was thinking that would be like the face about, but then when you drew that second line in, I saw that other cheekbone was narrower than I thought it would be, just by looking at it.
Yes. So actually, in truth, there's a little bit of the side here as well. If you want to get really technical about it, there's a tiny little bit of side that we can see, and you can see it right here, right? Because here's where you can see almost none of it, but you can see a little tiny bit of it.
Oh, I see, like a sliver of
There's
another.
A sliver of a third. There's a sliver of the other side. Yeah. So what we do like about Loomis, and I'm going to sketch in here for you, this circles. Don't do this yet. I'm just sketching this in so we have it. So as usual, we've got our face, right down the middle. This is messed up enough that I might have to do this again. This is complicated. All right, so from here to here, here to here. Oh, interesting. Okay, so from here, because of this position, 3. I'm checking. So because of this position as well, normally we would divide this line from the middle of the eyebrow, right, to here, the second third here, and the third third here. But look at how much extra. If I go 1, 2, 3, look at how much extra there is here. So I'd like to try and divide this into thirds, but the thirds will look a little different. That's because her head is turned up. I'd say it's 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Yep. Okay. So 1, 2, and 3. So we've got this line that comes in and then a little bit up for the top of the head. Hold on, I'm going to sketch in. Yeah, this is the jankiest pose. No, it is a janky pose. It absolutely, I'm glad we're doing it because it kind of defies everything else we've studied, and it's going to help you guys. We'll still use our Loomis circles and our measurements. So essentially what we're going to start by drawing is this circle on the top of the head. Actually, we're going to start with this, and then we're going to use this to determine how wide this is. And then, so I'll show you. I'm going to send this over. I know this is a lot. I know you guys, it's a lot. It's a lot. So be patient. I'll show you how to start the structure of it. We're going to start with this. I'm going to send this to you. Josie, I'm going to send this to you. There. And I'm going to send this to you guys. What's that? So here's how we're going to start our construction. Use a pencil.
Interesting.
We're going to start our construction like this. I'm going to start my construction by drawing the middle of the face line. Now, it doesn't matter how long you make it. Oh, let me get rid of this so you guys can really see this. Am I recording? I am, good. Remove spotlight. So it doesn't matter how long you make this. I'm not trying to make this the same length. I'm going to make it a little bit longer, actually. But I want it to be angled, right? From the left, going down to the right. And then I want you to divide this in thirds, equal thirds. 1, 2, 3. So this is our base measurement upon which we use everything. And to make it really clear what you're measuring, you're not measuring the entire distance, you're measuring the face. So let me mark this in orange. Don't worry, I have another copy of this, so we'll look at it again once we get the structure down. Here is 1, 2, and 3. So we're measuring from here. So we're drawing from here to here. So go ahead and sketch that out. And then the next step is right here, right, which is where this line comes down, right below here, right? I want to figure out how long this is. And if I measure it on this side, it's exactly that, a little shorter than the height, this height.
What is, oh, the back of the head?
Look. The head on this side, this line, which is coming through here. So I'll sketch that out in orange too, so it's really clear. I'm going to try and find next this line. right? And then I'm gonna find this line. But first I'm gonna find this line. So I'm gonna check here and I can see that basically on this side of the line, if I start my line just below and I go at an angle down, I'm gonna go as far as this is tall. It's much farther than you'd think. Got that? So we're gonna do that, this. I'm gonna walk you guys through this and then I'll take a look once we get 2 more steps in, right? And then this is like, on this side, it's kind of half of a third. So I can come here and find half of a third, it's about here. So you see how I'm using this measurement, which I've already established, to create my vertical distance and then my width. I have to establish this, and I usually use this vertical line to figure out where things are. All right, so I don't want to go any farther than that. I want to see, I'm going to send this across so you guys, here, hold on, take a picture of this. I'm going to take a picture of this, and I would love you to send me your picture. I want you not to go any farther. Don't go any farther. Only because this is Keely, and I may not have even exactly got this. Actually, it's in pretty good shape. So this line on this side of the line is almost as tall, just a little bit shorter, than the vertical distance. Should be about the same. And this should be about 1/2 of a third. So when you've got it, yeah, let's see. Okay. Tosh, I can't, don't get this, don't worry, don't get this in yet because I'm not exactly sure. We haven't got that measurement yet.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that one yet. Just really, let's see. So here, here. Yep, that looks good. Looks good to me.
Okay, okay.
Don't get these in yet because we're not quite sure, you're not quite sure measurement wise where they go. I know. We'll get there. Mariana, that's curved almost exactly the opposite direction. So you have it going like this. You have it curving like this. Notice it's almost a straight line.
Yeah.
Yep. So notice how easy it is. Let's see, Josie. Not bad. Josie, bring this up almost to the 1/3 line. Wait, 1, 2. Hold on, just checking to make sure you've got the 1/3 line in the right place. Oh, okay. I think 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Actually, you need to bring this line down just a little bit, this first third here. But then notice how close my line across is to this first 1/3. This is 1/3, right? 2/3, 3/3. So notice how close this line is. You guys are doing good, actually. This is good. I'm impressed. Yeah, Melissa, bring it up just a touch. 1, 2, 3. It seems like these things, yeah, bring this.
Who are you
line
talking
up.
to?
Melissa Moline.
Okay.
Bring this line up just a touch. Otherwise, it looks good. Yes. Yes. Jean.
The horizontal line at the end on the right or what?
Yes. Right here, where you have it down here.
Okay.
A little bit too low. Just to it seems like it's not a big deal, like you have it like down here, really. Bring it up just a little bit. It's closer to this line than you think.
Okay.
Jean, you need to bring yours down a little bit. It's just a touch below the 1/3 point. All right. Good, Josie. It goes down. It mostly, if you look here, it mostly angles down. Well, let's see. Do I like that? Notice that this point here, if I were to draw a line straight across, comes well below here. So this line can't come up over, it can't come up here. So your line needs to stay down. But you got it. It's really going down a way. You guys are doing great. This is the hardest part. This is the part where we spend the most time going, But when you do that, it helps. Melissa, that's otherwise, Melissa Moline, MM, that's mostly perfect.
I was confused a little bit. I get it now. I was measuring to the top of the head. It's
No,
interesting.
don't measure to the top of the head.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
what I did wrong.
Yep.
Why did you pick the bang line?
It's because that's how you, generally it's how we locate. It's just how you think of the skull as kind of a separate thing on
Oh,
top. I mean, I don't know. It's just a traditional construction method.
interesting.
Yeah, it's a traditional construction method. All right, Josie, great. Good job. Okay. So if I were to go like this, notice if I were to like draw, I'll do this with blue. So it's not, if I were to draw a line straight across, look at how far down. I would make like a little pizza slice here. Right, with the bottom. This actually lines almost exactly up with, oh, that's even better. This, if I were to draw a line straight across, I'm just mucking her up total. But if I were to draw a line straight across here, it would totally line up with 2/3, right? The second third. All right, so pretty good, guys. This, I'm gonna guess that this is about half. Yep. This is about another 1/2 third up. So I'm going to find the halfway point of this first third. I'm going to go up. And I'm going to add it here. I'm going to put that in there. So I know this is like the bang line and this is where the forehead is. Can you all see how much easier it is to start to sketch in these other shaped lines? So here, this is like another 1/2 third. It carries on, all right? Now I can add my circle in the right place. So my circle, which is really where my ear is, and also where the jaw comes up into the ear. My circle comes all the way down to here. Right, like that. And it comes just a little bit up here. I'm not even sure I've got that right. My circle comes down here. And lines up. Right? Yeah, because I got it a little bit far. I have to draw a line straight across like this and line it up like that.
Leah, I'm gonna have to hop off now, but I'll watch the rest on video.
All right, sweetie, let us know what happens. Text me. You're a good American. And we know who the bad Americans are. At this point, before I absolutely place this line, I want to know where to put it, where it falls on the line. So actually, 1, 2, oh, look at that. That is about halfway. Is that what you did, Tosh, when you put in this line?
I did.
Okay, well, put it back in then. Good job. So from here, if I find the halfway point, that's about here. Mhm. Yeah, about half. So if I mark the halfway point, I can start sketching in here. I can come down here, right? And sketch this sort of front of the face. No, wait, is that right? Yeah, that's right.
So you're saying that the, I don't know, I'm not getting halfway. Huh,
From
interesting.
here to here. That's a little teeny scooch from here to here.
Is that, are you saying to the edge of the ear, kind
Yeah,
of?
from here, yeah, from here to here. This
Oh, I
distance,
see. Okay,
from here to here. From the edge to here, it's halfway.
okay, okay.
Yep.
Not all the way to the back of the hairline or whatever.
Nope. Nope, nope, nope. So now I think it's a little bit easier. Here, I'm going to sketch this in. To see kind of the where we're going, because this feels a little tedious, right? Otherwise, once I have this distance, and I'm not worried about features yet, I'm just worried about kind of, I know that the hairline starts here. So I'm going to bring it in here. And then I wonder, yep. If I go another halfway, here to here, that's where the ear, that's where this circle, where the ear kind of comes in. So if I split, so I've started by splitting this in half to find out where the front of the face is. And then I've split this in half to find out where the ear is. So now I can bring in my circle like this. And then boom, like this. Now we'll still have to do some adjusting. We're just kind of locating generally where things are. But notice how weird it feels. Notice how much it feels like your mind is resisting where all these things are supposed to be. It's just like, no. Okay, this comes here. And at this point, it kind of comes out and then down and meets up with the ear. I might need to change the angles on this. It changes definitely on this side. I'm not really worried about getting this cheek shape right just yet. I mostly just want to get, so this is how you start the sketch. And this is hard, guys. There's a lot of different elements at play here. So Melissa, you're really good at stating it when you're like, I don't get the logic here. So make sure to keep saying it so I can help you figure it out. But essentially, The theory is this, I start with this, I use this to measure everything else, right? This is my baseline of measurement. And I'm still gonna have to adjust things, I know that. However, I know that they're kind of generally in the right places. And actually, if I really want to go even further, I can get, this is what really shows the kind of awkwardness of this pose, right? Where her head is in relation to her shoulder. Because that really shows a kind of jutting. So notice that's all kind of contained within and sort of beyond that ear area, like that. And then there's her hair kind of coming down. Her neck comes in almost to this point, a little bit to the right. And then it kind of centers. And then here, look at her other shoulder is like way down here. And I can still use these points. I can still track. There's my image. I can still use this electric pencil eraser, can be really helpful. To see sort of where is the neck, where is the shoulder, shoulder's about there, right? Here is this other little piece. Actually, you know what, Melissa? Now I'm kind of fond of it. Now we spent enough time with it. I'm like, all right, it's weird. It's janky, but it's our weird and our janky. Thank you for bringing it up. It's just hard to systemize, right? The approach. So take your time, do your best to try and get these pieces in place. And then I'll take a look at it and help you guys, like as we're going through. Here, I'll send mine across. Let's see. Melissa. So let's see. So it's halfway. This is good. Yep, and this is good. So this angles in a little bit more, right? It doesn't go straight down. So bring this in to sort of, let's see, where would this measurement be in relation to
a third?
Yeah, it's like if I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, from here to here. Oh, that's not very helpful. Let's see. Let's use this.
It's a little bit bigger than a third.
Yeah. Watch, let me see.
It's like a
Actually, it's what 1, 2, 3. It's all, yeah, it's a little bit smaller than a third. What I would just do is angle it a little bit more, right? As you come down. So angle it a little bit to the right. Like this. I have to do the same thing. So instead of going straight down, right? Yeah, it's like we're going towards a V. And then this is like the same size as this, which is the same. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yep. Let's see. Oh no, it's doing one of those things. Hey, Josie, can you send that again? So you'll see that it's a real difference, like the difference between a fat and a thin face, bleb, you know what I mean? All of that stuff is going to be really minute. Minute changes will make a difference. I'm looking at this shape and realizing it's kind of a little bit more like an angle, like that. I think that helps. Nope, it's down a little bit more. There's a lot of correcting. Did you just send that, Melissa? Wait, no, that's the last one. Okay. So, but what I hope you'll take away from this is this idea of kind of finding right, is of finding this distance and this distance to help you find everything else. And those are the, once you find this distance, even finding out where to place this line, right? We learned that you have to make a pizza shape on this side if it goes straight across, and it should line up with this space, right?
Can you explain
So,
the pizza shape thing again?
look, if I were to draw a line straight across, so here's the diagonal, right? If I were to draw a line straight across, where's my orange? Straight across from where this starts, right? That's where it would land. And here's where, so this is where my dot should be. This is where my line should go down. I should be able to draw a line straight across here to be able to create a pizza suit. And it's the same with where does the bottom of the, where does this line line up here? It lines up with the 2/3 line. So what I'm trying to figure out where to place this, in reality, what I probably should have shown you guys is let's place this first. I know this part goes here. I'm going to place this because it's going to line up here and it's going to line up here like that. And then it's easier to kind of get it in the right place. Let's see. I think this goes in more. We're going to deal with this shape, but we're going to deal with it later. We're mostly just getting the basics. It's chunky. Oh, I'll tell you my other idea about why this seems like such an awkward pose to me. Do you guys know who Mary Cassatt is? You know who Mary Cassatt is, right? She's a famous painter. She was from the 1920s. She did stuff like this. She was an American. She lived in Paris. She was friends with Degas, you know, the guy who did the ballet dancers. And she was really the only person who could stand him. He was a real jerk, Degas. No, she was the only one who went to his funeral, if I remember correctly. Aha, here it is. So one day, Degas was famous for saying things like, women can't paint, right? And then Mary Cassatt would paint. So once when he said that, she painted this. If you look at this, it's almost exactly the same position, except a shoulder up on the other side coming down. She proved to him by putting a kind of what she would call a plane model in an awkward position with a bunch of, which is sort of a chamber pot and a like thing, like, you know, in front of a very awkward setting, that she could still do a beautiful painting. And look at the position of her head. It's exactly, so I always think of that. So this was her response to Degas' challenge, to which point he basically said, okay, women can, well, you can paint anyway. It was like, you can paint, Mary. So look at it. This is all, like, this was like, I'm going to do everything that's classically wrong in painting and still do a good painting. It's interesting, isn't it? Anyway, Mary was a good painter, really good. And even though Degas made her mad,
Mary
Cassatt,
Cassatt.
Ssatt.
Thank you.
Mary Cassatt. So for some reason, Josie, I'm getting this message that says you're trying to download something and I can't actually see. Are you taking it in a different way? There we go. Just came through. Oh, Josie, pretty good. All right. So Josie, this is what I'm going to show you. Your ear is up a little too high. So this is where you put your ear. Right? up here. So what you want is for your line to go down here. Okay, let's see. What is the best way to help you figure this out? Erase this line, okay? And then I want you to come, you've got it in the right size. So I want you to, your point, you have your point about here for that line. So I want you to just, once you've erased this line, come down and put a point where if you went straight across, it would line up with the 2/3 point here, right? So here, I'll erase mine and show you exactly what I want you to do. So when you're trying to figure out where to put this line, I know it crosses here. And now I need to find my endpoint. So my endpoint, it's not here, right? It's not above the line, it's below. I know it's no farther than this, but I want you to put a point here, which lines up this way with the 2/3 point, and lines up about this far down from the 1/3 point. Does that make sense? Then you draw your line from here to here. So you've got it in the right place. Otherwise, this is looking pretty good. Just the ear is too big. I'm impressed, you guys. I'm really impressed. Has anybody else got this to the point where we're ready to take a look? Start adding in features. Josh, we should talk about you doing some social media for me too.
Wow.
We'll just keep this conversation going. Does everybody think they have the kind of basics? Here, neck. There's a nice little triangle here where you can kind of show the face going right, the jaw going in, and then it goes up. I'm not totally convinced I have that right. Let's see. Melissa has the new job. Ooh, Melissa.
It's good.
Well, look at you. Ah, looks almost perfect.
Yay.
Yay! I'm impressed. We're gonna have to carve in this side, but that's okay. We haven't really worked on this side yet. So this is looking pretty. Oh my word, girl. Yeah. It's as if you were never away. Nice work. Nice work.
Thank you.
I think the thing that's hardest about drawing and measuring is that at some point you get tired of doing that. Does anybody feel that way? Where you're like, I just want to lay this damn line down and not have to think about it. But in this phase, it's important to kind of evaluate everything that you're doing. Now I'm looking to see, did I get this angle right? This could probably go a little bit more like that. Let's see, Josh. Looking good. Yep. You can make, so Tosh here, you've got this happening.
Yeah.
So go straight, and then this is straight across, and then we angle up. And also look at where her neck, look at where you have her neck. You have her neck here.
Yeah. Okay. Move
It's
it
because
up.
you got tired of measuring, right? You're just trying to illustrate that point for me, weren't you? Okay, Mariana, let's see. 1, excellent. 2, 3, excellent. You guys put up with so much. All right, good. Good. Okay, so Mariana, all I would say is look, so I think this line is misplaced, right? It comes through the halfway point and then it angles to, it's not a straight line. It doesn't go straight down. It goes in like this. It goes to the right. It's an angled line. And once you get that, look at how much space is like between here, right there. If there's more, then you'll see you've got a little bit more head shape here. And then once you've reached that point, this is straight and this is angled up. So here, otherwise it looks great. Moly, let's see. Okay, so you're just slanting a bit. Everything looks great here. I'm checking. So the top of your head is slanting way too much. You're doing this. You did this, right? So look here. It's really almost straight out, down. You've got that it lines up with the, it might be better to follow it from the ear up, right? You can catch it. So, and then of course, so this is straight across and then down. And then you did the same thing here. You did the same thing. You're doing that. This is more of a straight, it's less angled. And the reason that's true is that this is more straight because it's the front of the face. Believe it or not.
I see.
Right? So think about it. It's still curved a little bit, right? But it's not as curved as you think it is. So notice how you took those curves and just roll, right? It's very easy to make curves too curvy. I almost like to not think of curved lines. Like I would prefer not to think of this as a curved line. Instead, I'd like to break it into sections because curves are so difficult to get right, right? Here is one section. Here is the other. So this is a straight line. This is a straight line that maybe intersect. Instead of here trying to get this all curved, they're really straight lines that intersect. It's easy to make curved lines too curved. That's one of the ways we kind of miss the exaggeration. It's easy to get tired and like just put this neckline anywhere, but we got to put it where it is, right? This is straight, this is angled. Good job, you guys. But you know what? This is excellent. You're totally seriously doing excellent. So, okay. So Josie, erase the ear completely. Erase your ear completely. You're still going back to the same point. That's what's happening. Just erase your ear. I'll do the same thing, okay? I'm going to have you do exactly what I want you to do. I want you to erase your ear. Erase this. Erase all of this. Just erase the whole thing. And erase this line. Erase everything. Erase everything. Okay, erase that circle. All right, once you've done that, I want you to do exactly what I'm showing you right now. So tell me when you're ready. Hold your thumbs up and I'll show you. Thumbs up. All right. So from here, this 1/3 line, the 1/3 mark, I'm going to go straight across until I get to the same distance as my height. A little bit less. Right? So from here, I'm going to go straight across, not bended, I'm gonna go straight across. Okay. And now, have you done that? Thumbs up? Okay, now I'm gonna go down until if I came here, well, actually, you know what? Instead of that, go to your 2/3 point and go straight across. Actually, that's the easier thing to do. Go to your 2 points. That's where your point is. So that's where this point is. And then I can draw from here to here. Got it? And then your line comes up here. You've got it otherwise perfect measurements, sweetheart. It's absolutely perfect. All right. Is anybody ready to talk about features? Is that we talk about features? Let's place the features. Okay, we're going to place the features and then I'm going to move us to a, well, it's sort of unblemished, but at least we'll be able to see her better. I promise. So once again, we're going to start. You want to kind of notice where the eye kind of falls in. I1 kind of falls here, right? You can see it. It's like here to here. So it's above the line. Can I say it's halfway? I totally can. So from this line to here, if I find my halfway point, about here, 1, 2, the eye comes just along at the halfway, and it comes here and kind of sits over, right? It comes to the halfway point. If I use this to go here, interesting. Oh. If I actually measured the actual distance of the actual eye, which doesn't include all of her makeup, but really includes the edge of the eye, that's about from here to here. If I go from here to here, you'll see, and I follow up the line, the second eye starts about here. It also goes up at an angle. It's going to be a little tricky, and it kind of comes slightly below. So really, the second eye just comes where this halfway point is. I'm not getting in any detail. We'll do that once we get the location of everything. So I can see that the nose, and I'm just going to sketch it in. Is it halfway? The nose, this top part of the nose here starts at about 1/3. Comes here, comes down. Don't try to do the curved line yet, but do notice that the nose kind of, the edge of the nose lines up with the edge of the eye. So just get that shape. And we'll get more detailed later. And the mouth starts here. Notice the mouth, just like all mouths everywhere, does line up with the sort of middle of the iris. So I can add my eye in here like this, my iris here. The mouth starts here. Ends at the halfway point. So the bottom of the mouth is here. There we go. That's enough. Oh, yes, and let's get the eyebrows in. Eyebrow 1. We want to be 2, 2, 3. Eyebrow 1 is 1/3 of the way down. No, 2/3. Eyebrow 1 starts about here. Look at the difference between eyebrow 1 and eyebrow on the right and the eyebrow on the left. Totally different shape. I don't think I quite have that right, but I'll be able to fix it when we go to the next picture. Here, I can see that the eyebrow comes a little bit farther to the right. It ends kind of a little bit farther to the right of the eye. So I can come up here. Welcome to the world of nothing is the way you think it should be. Nothing is where you should think it should be. Nothing is how you think it should be. But at least we know things are in kind of the right places. All right, let's see. Tosh, that looks pretty good. Excellent, in fact. All right, I'm going to send this to you guys so you can see it. I'm going to send you the marks as well. I think I'm missing something. This I don't have quite correct, but I'll fix that on the second. It's a little bit better. Yeah, a little bit better. You'll notice that I am very specifically not, oh, Josie, great. Wait, did you just, oh yeah, there you go, Josie, excellent. Excellent. Angle this down just a little bit more. I love how you got the shape of your mouth there. It's awesome. You guys are so good. This is so hard. You guys are doing so well.
Yeah, some of the, like the fact that the corner of the mouth kind of does line up with the pupil, even though.
Yeah, even though she's kind of like, right?
Like I kind of
Yeah.
get, like once you know where things should go, you can kind of start.
It helps. It helps, doesn't it? It helps to know where things go. Once you learn that. So Melissa, what she's talking about is that if you're looking at a face straight on, and I'll totally send you these measurements. So I'm going to send you some drawings so you can see this. In the middle line of the mouth lines up with the iris. The nose, the edge of the nose kind of lines up with the tear duct of the eye. Really, the width of the nose is the same as the width of the eye. Everybody makes it too small, but that's kind of how you line things up. Yeah, and it does help when you're like, oh, okay, I can actually apply that here, even in this crazy janky position. God help us. Oh, I see what I did here. Right, if you want to, you can kind of try and like get a little bit of that edge of that ear. So we have to draw the ear in even if we don't see very much of it, because the hair goes around it, right? And it's the same with the back of the head. Josie, if you show this to your mom, I bet she'll freak out. She'll be like, how is my daughter so talented? It's going well. Let's see. Yep. Yep. That looks good, Tosh. Yep. Good job, everybody. We'll still be adjusting. Oh, Moline, let's see. Excellent. All right. Excellent. Don't get, let's see. I'm looking at your thirds. Yep. Two. So your nose shape is too dramatically turned like this. Do the outer shape first, which is more like this, and then I'll show you how to get to that inner shape. You know what I'm saying? That's why it looks, it's a little bit too big.
Yeah.
It's coming down a little too low. You tried to get that angle in too soon. And as you're learning, it's like, oh my God, but everything else looks fantastic. Yep, I love how you got this shape. You know, this is the halfway of the mouth, right? So this is the other half of the mouth. I love how you just automatically on both of these got the shapes, and the eye of the eyes are bigger. It's perfect. It's really good. Really, really good. Yeah. What I always like to tell myself is that anything from the side, anything from the side, when you're looking at a head from the side, it goes out much, it juts out much further in the back, which you can feel if you kind of run your hand over the back of your skull. You'll feel that if you run your hand over the back of your head, it actually juts out behind the ear. It comes out farther than the ear. And that's the thing. Yeah. Anyway, it's awesome. And that's the thing that we aren't really expecting. And so we don't tend to problem solve for that. Tosh, remember last week when you were sketching and I was like, nope, you've got to find this distance, right? You need that distance like pretty easily because it's just not, it's not comprehensible. It's like we can't just look and see it on its own. And Melissa, Melissa Moline, you are an excellent drawer, right? I know this about you. You're an excellent draftsman and a perfect measurement. This is not the reason you couldn't figure this out on your own. It doesn't follow the rules of perspective mess. There's no way to sort of understand. Well, there is a way to understand it, but the rules of perspective mess it up, right, in your head. And on your own, there's just a point where we can't eyeball everything. Right, there's a point where once we're starting to really translate sides of the face versus, you know, the front of the face versus the side, it just doesn't work. I'm not even actually convinced I have this in the right place, but I'll be checking this. Maybe I do. Might need to scoot this a little bit. See, I'm still like, I'm kind of even second guessing myself here, but I know at least things, whatever I have to do to fix it, it won't destroy my drawing. I mean, these are just things I think we're not really able to see. And that's the thing that's kind of the struggle about it. We can't, they don't like sort of follow the traditional logical rules. All right, are we there? Do we want to like skip to the other side? Shall we? Let's skip to the next set.
How do you do the eyebrows?
Shape-wise?
Yeah, I just don't even know how to even, like, do you, I don't know.
So just like any, let me see if I can explain it. How's that? So I like to see where they end, right? So I'm kind of lining it up right now with the way so if I was to look straight down, right, but she's tilted, right, I'm looking to see, okay, how far does the eyebrow fall? It kind of comes a little bit to the right, but the big thing, oh, I know what you're asking. The big thing I look at And I'm going to sketch this in, and then this is the last thing I'll sketch in. You have to get this shape.
Yeah, that's what I don't know how to get.
Well, look start by measuring, right? Think of it as a negative space. So as I'm coming in here, I'm trying to create this shape. Here, let me erase my eyebrow, and let me try and do it that way.
Okay.
Right? So the first thing is I'm coming here. And actually, if I really want to make this, right? So the first thing I'm doing is I'm coming out here and I'm extending this line like this. And I can see that if I draw this line straight, well, anyway, I'm extending this line out and then I'm drawing that line up. So I do the bottom of the eyebrow first in relation to this shape. Can you do that? Does that feel? And if you wonder, like, how far should I put it up? You can use the eye to measure up. So the eye from here to here, very top of the eyebrow is here, and just below is here. But I start by creating this shape, trying to create this space. And the reason this space is so important, and then see, I can kind of just follow the upper lines. You're pinpointing, though, Melissa, exactly what the issue is, which is one of the most distinctive things about a person is this. I'm going to stop and show you guys really quick before we get into it. Sorry, you always have to see my mug. So if you can see my face, let's see right here. There's almost, the two things that are most distinctive between people are where this upper lid line goes and how much skin you can see right between the lashes and the upper lid line, and how much skin there is between the upper lid line and the eyebrow itself. Now look at how much space you can see between my upper lid line and my upper lash line. That's where the big shape is. So if you can't really see any on her. Her eyes come all the way up to the edge of the upper lid line. You can't even see them. And because it's up so high, maybe this is just genetics, I don't know. You really can't see this shape. There any skin, there's only just this little triangle right here that you can see. So the eyebrow sits right on top of the upper lid line. Now, Melissa, I'm going to pop you up here. So let us see your eyes. So move those cute little bangs of hers. Look at how different her eyes, look at where her eyebrows sit. Oh my God, you've got fantastic eyebrows. Have I ever told you that?
I have like non-existent eyebrows.
But look at the shape. So look at the difference between the two of us, you guys. Look at them. So she has a bit of upper lid line here. You can see a little bit of skin between here. And then there's this huge, her eyebrows go up like this and over. There's a lot of skin shape. It is such a difference. This is likeness. So the reason you're focusing on it, Melissa, is that it's like that shape is the most important shape in terms of getting likeness.
Right. It's that triangle thing.
Well, I don't have a triangle. Well, I guess I have a triangle. I've got a triangle right here. I got nothing. I just have eyebrow up hanging on the top of my upper lid line. I don't have a triangle.
Yours are more straight across.
Yeah, mine are straight across and they're lower. So it's not just a triangle. You have a triangle right there. You have a triangle that arches up and we see a lot of skin. See, if I did this, maybe. This thing. Yeah, well, it's this skin shape here. Mm-hmm. I don't have it. You can't see it. My eyebrow goes in a different shape. So that's, when I'm trying to shape the eyebrow, I always look at this shape, the skin shape underneath and where the upper lid line goes, so that I get those shapes right, I get everything else right. That's how you get it. All right. That's amazing. So amazing to me. All right, everybody ready to move on to the next page? Are we ready? Thumbs up if we're ready. If you need more time, let me know. All right, let's do it. Let's go. Let's do it, rock stars, because you guys have got it. You got it. All right, so at this point, it might be easier for us to turn her upside down. I'm going to, I want to check a few, I want to sort of check my shapes. Yeah. Actually, these shapes are looking pretty good to me. What I would really like to do, so notice I'm coming here. I notice there's a little poof out between the bottom of this eyebrow and then here, and then it goes straight down. And then there's another little poof out where the cheek comes. And then do you go straight? No, you're kind of angled this way. So I'm looking upside down because it's easier to see. I don't want to muck this one up too much. I really don't, but I will do these. I'll draw these in orange so we can just see the outer shapes. Right, straight, up, in. It's much easier to see the shapes. Straight, down. There we go. So I can see I need to do a little bit more angling up. I can see her chin's a little bit more pointed and short, right? It's kind of like from here to here, it's straight. I can see here, it's straight. And then here, it really curves up a bit more. By the way, the other thing that's really helpful to see is that it's pretty dark under the chin. That's also pretty standard. So I can also, at least in certain areas, here I need a pencil that has more lead in it, I can kind of darken at least to here. Right? The neck is darker. That's because the head, of course, is sticking out over the top of the neck and shading it. Right, so that's part of what I'm doing. Oh, well. So I'm shaping the bottom lip now. There's this little area with her teeth. You're going to de-emphasize that. You're really going to de-emphasize that. You're going to, I'm just making this little tiny light area. Don't draw any teeth at all, any teeth lines. You can't really see any anyway. But what's really nice about this picture is look at how dark her upper lip is as opposed to her bottom lip. So it's like this to here is super dark. This, and this is like a medium. Yeah, it's not too bad. I'm gonna send a picture. I'm not sure do I have this shape exactly right here? No. So remember, top lip and the middle line of the lip, which is like here, it kind of runs along the top lip, that's dark. Then there's this tiny little light area. with the little dark edges on either side. And the bottom of the lip is lighter. And then for the nose, yeah, sketching. Okay, so remember I told you, we gotta be really careful not to pig this up for her, even though, so we're gonna really de-emphasize. We're gonna make just very skinny lines for the darkest part of the nostril. And then from here, and we're also going to notice that about here, everything's kind of shaded. So I can, there's a little triangle here where you can but if you want it to be about half the size of how it looks. And then here it's shaded with little tiny light areas. And then with the eyes, these are going to be very fun. So notice the iris is here. The pupil is here, very dark, separate little tiny white parts. And then notice that the line of the iris, the outside line of the iris is lighter and it's a little bit darker. These. I'm getting rid of some of my middle line when I finished here. I'm using my electric eraser to create a little light reflective edge, but everything kind of around it is darker, but the iris is later towards what it would be the bottom if we're looking at it right side up. There's a little triangle here. And then there's just this big, because of her makeup, there are these big dark shapes here that look like this. The other eye we can see more strongly. So notice, because of her makeup, we can't see her upper lid line. So instead, we're kind of going to draw this C-fin shape that comes all the way down here. We can see the bags actually under her eyes much more clearly. And once again, we've got this dark outside pupil, and we can't even see actually really what's happening. The dark pupil kind of disappears into the eye shadow in the eye. It's just lighter down here. And then around two reflective edges, it gets darker up here. It's a little bit shaded under the bags.
Lower lid.
The what?
Lower lid. She's
That's not the lower lid. That's the eye socket.
Oh,
That's not the lower lid.
Yes, isn't
The
it?
lower lid is here.
Is that this, the lower, and this is the upper? What, this is always the bag?
This is a bag.
Is that what they call it? God.
It's a bag. It's a bag. She's got bags. I think that's one of the reasons she's kind of an interesting study. And then, of course, I can really darken, right? Thinning here. And I can darken here. So is everybody comfortable working upside down? I know it looks weird, but I think we're in pretty good shape, actually. We'll start adding and shading for the nose in a minute. Actually, let me put that in right now as I see it. So instead of drawing, you want to just lightly shade from here. Yeah, she's kind of got that old lady, like you can see what she'll look like old. She's got a slightly, this is one of the reasons her face is kind of interesting. And then here, it's pretty dark, except for this little, so each area over the eye is a little bit light, but then there's this shading happening here and there. Oops, that's too dark. You'll also see little bits of shading happening here. Around here. Remember, almost everything under the eyes is shaded. Notice how lightly I'm shading, lightly, but I'm still shading. So it's all shaded on this bottom part of the nose, this line coming up, touch here. Send that across. All right, Josie, I'm going to send this to you so you can see it up close and personal, and I'm going to send it to all you guys. I'll also send you this so you can kind of see. I try not to muck it up too much with the lines. That's why we always do 2 copies. Let's see. Here is the sketch. Is anybody finding it easier to do upside down? I mean, we don't know yet, right? Because we haven't really looked at how it looks right side up, but it's easier to kind of see the shapes. Let's see. Good job, Josie. Great. I think her eyebrow isn't quite so high up. You might try erasing just a touch here, right? It's not quite as thick as you made it. I think you kind of made it more like this. So erase a little bit from the bottom. All right. And then, of course, the other thing that's pretty dark is her hair. I know it's light in some places and dark in others, but it's all darker than what's happening everywhere else, right? So we might as well darken. And if you see, I wouldn't draw every hair, but like this, if you see some kind of dark swoops, go ahead and add them in. But mostly we're just darkening. Now let's see, how did I get this? All right, so here's where I'm gonna start reshaping my head. I think I did, because I wasn't really seeing those bumps. I think I stuck her head out too much. By the way, if you don't have an electric eraser, you should totally get one. They are dope. Completely dope. And of course, also notice that like,
That goes for an electric pencil sharpener too.
yeah, they're fantastic.
Love those.
They are the best. So now notice now we're going to totally kind of sketch over the ear, right? Because mostly it's hair. Now notice I'm not drawing every single hair. I'm just kind of trying to darken enough. So even though we can't see very much of her ear, we still have to sketch as if we do, as if we have to sketch it in first before we sketch over it. So even, and now we're at kind of an easier part, right? Because I can even kind of come in here and switch in there. It's a little bit lighter here, so I can actually take my eraser and kind of erase in a little bit, right? Once we get here, we'll turn them upside down, right side up. And start kind of working the details. But I'm feeling pretty good about this one. Not that though. Here, nice second. I'm like, I'm feeling pretty good about this. No. No, I'm not. Here, it kind of scoops like this. There we go, better. Notice the other thing that's really important is this shape between the brows and the hairline, right? So notice how my hairline was dipping in and how much that was affecting her likeness. Melissa Collins, how's it feel to be back?
I missed it, so it's good to be back.
We missed you.
I missed you guys.
I'm going to try, for those of you who are in Portland, I'm going to try and hold a couple in-person sort of fun arty activities. Tosh Ween is actually going to be here on the 19th, which is 20th, on the 20th of June. And we're actually thinking about going out and doing a sketch party on Sabi Island. It's Juneteenth means it might be a holiday for you, depending on where you work. So if you want to, we should all go out and join. I'll send out detailed information about that. We're also going to do at least one figure drawing session with models in my backyard. And at least one plein air painting session at an unknown location. As of now, unknown location, but we'll figure it out. So for those of you in Portland, we're going to try and do some fun stuff this summer. Because I think most of you are in Portland. Mariana, you can always come out and visit us. It would be nice.
It would be nice.
Maybe the undisclosed kind of location for plein air painting will be Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
Have you guys found this helpful? Has this session been helpful to you?
Always.
Good.
Yes.
Yes.
I think you guys are doing great. I want to really make sure I say this. You know, sometimes I'm very like problem oriented, right? So I'll go to I will forget to say, by the way, really great work on this, and this. So, and if I take a while to look at something and say something like, here's where the problem is, it means there's generally no problems. So I want to credit you guys. You've been doing great work today. This is hard. Although, yeah, now Melissa, I kind of love her. She's kind of awesome. She's got this like, oh, I can see her neck comes out a little bit further this way. She's got this kind of old young thing look going. That's really, I think I mean, she's pretty, right? Like she's totally pretty, but she does not have a traditional prettiness. There are kind of oddities about her face that are interesting. So if you're coming next week, you can be in charge of picking the next face for us.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Great. I like weird faces, so I hope that's not a problem.
And you cannot lie.
True. Can't lie.
Sorry, I immediately went into a Sir Mix-a-Lot. Like
I caught
can't. Did you catch that?
I caught that. I'm around the same age. Yeah.
Ish.
Same era. I know.
You
I know
it.
Sir Mix-a-Lot. And
I interviewed Sir Mix-a-Lot once. He's awesome.
oh, you
actually.
did?
He lives in, yeah, I used to be a journalist, and in my journalist days, he lives in Auburn, Washington, just outside Seattle. And I interviewed him for this label he had started, and he was darling. he's a really nice man. Super generous, and he's just really neat. I'm trying to erase some of my lines, right? Because I think they're sort of distracting now, but I don't know. We may not entirely get rid of them. I can see that this side of the nose is straighter and it's almost like a little C here. Oh, no, be careful, don't overdo it. It's really easy to overdo these dark areas. You want to underdo them. You want to make them half the size that you think they are. Yep, see, I already messed that up because I made it too big. I can tell you what's actually happening. What's actually happening is this looks like it's one level of darkness. It is not. The only area that's super dark is the edge, the part that's one of the edges, the edge that's farthest away from the light source. This becomes like a 4 or even a 3.5, but it doesn't often like show in photos. So people tend to overemphasize this, but that's why we do such a small version of this dark. Because in truth, it's not, this is not equally dark, even though it sort of looks like it. You'll notice I'm still toying around with the shape of the mouth, the shape of the chin. You can really see the lower lid line, which is here, and that's white. So I'm trying to add that in. Right, so it's kind of like here in this little white area. Same thing is happening here.
I like the upside down technique. Pretty cool.
Oh, it's much easier to see all the things. We'll turn it upside down in about 5 minutes. And then and then go ahead and take a look and send things across if you need to, guys. We've got like 10 minutes left, 15 minutes left. So, but really, the thing I really want you to get is that I know you want to draw the eyes first. Everybody does. But if you can resist that and you can work on getting this construction and this construction here and here, get this shape and these shapes correct first, then it makes everything else easier. So you struggle because it doesn't look right? Because it's too, your brain is wanting more detail. Just like, let's see. What if you come out a little bit more? But if you do that, then this part becomes easier because you know things are in the right places. And that's the kind of beauty of measuring. One, two. So you notice I'm checking things now, like, do I have I'm using the mouth to kind of tell me like where the cheek should exactly land. I want kind of dark. I'm almost getting the ear in. That's what I was missing. By carving out the darks, these dark shapes around it, I almost don't even know what they are, and that's kind of better. Right? I'm just sort of sketching in the light and dark shapes as I see them. These are just, hairs. Ah, yes, there it is. There's like she's got a little hair coming down this side of her neck. There we go. So we have a Procreate class on Sunday, and then one more before we move to printmaking from home. Printmaking from home is going to be awesome. I think, Mariana, that's something Victor would love along with you, and something he could follow along with and not not struggle so much, right? He'd have really fun with the technique. So you guys should think about it.
Yeah, we already thought about it. We were talking about that last weekend.
I think he'll really love it. This class is kind of designed for kids. It's taught by my friend Lada Pochwa. Oh my God, he's so much fun, right? He is like one of my favorite people, and really one of the first artists who I met who was like, oh yeah, you can do this. At the very beginning, of course, I wasn't very good. I was like 32 and I've been doing other things. And Lada was like, oh no, you can do this. You can do this. You'll really like him. He's a stitch. Josie, I'm excited to have you and Addie in class together. That's going to be fun. We're going to have fun. I'm doing a special class for tweens as well.
What?
Yes, for tweens. So if you've got any tweens, it's got to be between the ages of 11 and 13. And you got to be serious about art like Josie is, right? So we know Josie's serious about art because she shows up to this class, right? Like your kid, but it's not really a class just for her. Yeah, I've set up a class for kids who are serious about art. It'll be 4 weeks in July and then 4 weeks in August. And will include consultations, and like a lot of kids that age are trying to get like portfolios together, but also you might just be wanting to work on your skills. So if you know any 11 to 13-year-olds who might want to take that class, who are mature like Josie and Addie, it's not here today. What's that, Josie?
I'll leave my friend then because she likes art too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a moment. I'm going to remove the spotlight for a second. I want you to put yourself in gallery view, and I want you to just hold up your piece wherever it is. Hold it up. Oh yeah, we're in good. Ooh, not, oh, hey, everybody. Oh my God. All right, so let's do, I can totally tell I've got the mouth wrong on mine. So let's flip them upside down. Let's flip them right side up and do some correction. Excellent work, everyone. But don't you see how well these are going? Can you see how well these are going? These are great. Okay, let's work on, let's see. Spotlight this for everyone. Okay, so the first thing I can see is that my mouth is too low. It didn't come up high enough. See how it's kind of like that? So totally off. All right, so now I'm going to bring it up farther like that. Look at how far, which means I'm going to need to bring this up too. I think this comes up to about here. So start looking. Yeah, that's better. I wonder if I don't have this nose down. I think I need to bring my nose down a little bit farther. So I'm also going to try and do that. So see how I'm not, if I'm like, okay, it's important not to get too precious about where anything is. Oh yeah, that looks better. See how much better that looks? So I probably brought her note. Here's where I had a nostril. Here's where it is, I think, in reality. I had to reshape the mouth a little bit. I think I'm going to need to reshape that as well. So if you want to, you can send yours over to me, but if you think you can do some problem solving on your own, just like I'm doing, now is the moment. Ah, I see. Really, this shape. Look at that difference. Not totally there yet, but it's closer. Oh, and I think I started to, yep. There we go. Yep. And don't worry, if you don't totally have likeness, that's okay. That's something, it takes time. As you can see, I'm still like kind of struggling with my likeness. In fact, I'm trying to figure out what's kind of going on. I guess her hairline is kind of pulling back here a little bit. Yeah, getting there. I may want to bring this lip up a little bit too. Hi, Boo. Come here. Want to say hi? Maurice wants to say hi to everybody. Here he is. Here he is. Hello.
No.
There he is. I'll put him up in the regular. He's been running around all day, so he's a little bit tired now. There he is. Say hi to everybody.
Does the neighbor come to play with the cats still?
Does no, because he can go outside now. So no, Kate, yeah. So Caitlin does. I don't need to pay her to entertain him because I had to do that when he couldn't go outside, but now he can.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. So,
He's
but she
happier.
does come by every once in a while. All right. Sorry. Let's get back to the issue at hand. She sometimes comes around, but. Yeah, we don't really, not that we don't need her. We like to have her around, but we don't really need her the way we used to. Okay, I'm noticing that my eyebrow can kind of, so see how each of these little changes that I'm making, as I'm looking at shape, is improving. We may not get there. The biggest thing for me was the nose. I really had to bring it down further. It's better. Now I'm switching this. I am always, for me, the biggest challenge is the mouth, always. It's always the mouth. That's a little better. Yep. So I made things too big. And notice, so here's where her the original mouth line was. It's just like a millimeter difference, but it makes a huge difference. So don't feel discouraged, guys. Like, how many times have you drawn her now, Melissa? Like, this is
Oh my
like,
God, a lot.
right? So
I'll show
it's,
you.
there we go. Now I think I'm at the point where I'm
Here's a
starting to
couple
get
of really
her.
bad ones.
Yeah, it's hard.
Melissa, where did you find her?
Sketchy.
Tell them they don't know Sketchy. Tell them about Sketchy.
Oh, Sketchy's great. It's an app. Now it's called Museum, Museum by Sketchy. They changed their name.
Interesting.
SKTCHY. And it's an app and it's just a bunch of models. Well, it's not models. It's people like me and you. And some people just take pictures of themselves and post them. And some people are artists and some people do both. And then they're just all free inspiration photos and it's mainly faces.
Yeah. And its faces, sort of slightly janky, weird faces, right? So, oh, hold on, I'm gonna get my.
Well, the ones I liked, not really.
So this model stumped you, huh? And then
What?
This model stumped you, and now we're.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't measure very often, but like I'm okay with like front on faces better. But so I don't know.
Sorry, guys, that's what happens when you ignore your battery low message. I'm back.
We didn't even know you were gone, Leah.
Good, good. That's good.
It was like 3 seconds. It was like recording stopped. Recording started.
Ha! That's funny. I feel like I feel like I'm not getting the slant of this cheek right. I don't know if anybody else is feeling that way. I'm like, I think you're slanted more. Oh yeah.
Yeah, just
Then I feel like it's kind of skinnier. Yeah, there we go. I'm looking at like, and this is this janky position, right? Like this is looking at where her mouth, so let's see, it's really like that, like that, like that, like that, and then in. So let me see if I can do this. All right, so it's like straight, down, in, there we go. Angled, out. Do you see how I'm kind of trying to, did I get it? Yeah, that's a little bit better. And then in, that's a little bit better. Do you guys see how I did that? I'm going to sketch that in. I think that's like worth noting. It's like this. We've got the headline, and I'll get that in a second. We've got this happening. That's kind of where the face, that's how the face kind of goes. It's like angled out like this, then like this, then it goes in, then it goes straight, and then it goes, it really angles like that. So now I'm going to erase all this. Oh yeah, that changes things significantly. That now I feel like I'm starting to get the shape of her head. Did you see that? Look at the,
It's better.
yeah. So look at the difference. Try and do that, those angles. With the, to get the jut of her face. And then there's like this kind of little light area. Yep, that's better. Almost there.
Right. Pretty good. Measuring helps.
Measuring is everything. Measuring is God. I don't believe in God. I believe in measuring. Measuring is my religion.
What a boring ass religion.
The truth. You speak the truth. Oh yeah, that's a little bit better. So you see how also what I'm trying to encourage you in this structure is to see that like we can even make pretty, you've noticed I've made some pretty significant changes to this, but I'm confident that because things are basically in the right places, it doesn't require that much, you know, messing about, as it were.
Yeah, you changed her lips.
Yeah, well, but not really. I just kind of carved them in a little bit, right? I mean, it's a millimeter,
Yeah.
right? So it's not that much, or maybe 2 millimeters difference. The big thing I did was change her nose shape because I had the nose about 1 millimeter too high. So I had to bring that in. And do you see, Melissa, why this shape that you drew at the beginning, it's too extreme, right? It's
Yeah, it was.
but
I
it's
carved it back
really
down.
just like that. So it's like kind of knowing that because I have confidence that things are in the right places, I'm like, okay, I can start laying down lines because I know I'll be able to fix them later, right? I'll be able to adjust them later. Yeah, some things are better. I don't think I have her. Oh yeah, that's the problem. And I want you to see how much fiddling around it takes. Right? Like it's not like I'm, you know, able to magically do this. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yep, that's better. So I changed the shape of the upper, all that makeup line. It's a little too, oh, and it's so light now. There we go. No, getting a little better. Maybe this is too good. Oh my God, it's like 5:30. It's like we've gone past the hour. Work for 5 or 10 more minutes, okay? Work for 5 or 10 more minutes. I'm gonna stop the recording now because I don't think we need this